Mm. Welcome, everyone to Dynasty the Podcast Show. I am your host, Ira Thomas Bush the Fourth, and this is today's special. This is State of the Elite Press State of the Union. I just want to say, yesterday was a very powerful show. It's one of these days. We're speaking a lot of facts. We were speaking a lot of facts yesterday. Today's gonna be a little bit like it's one of these things where I like to make sure one of my shows every week is just facts. But it's a lot going on in the sports world. Y'all know how connected I am to the sports world. Whether they want to believe it or not, I am. Unfortunately, I know people are mad, but that's just how it goes. But let's go right into it. We're gonna finish off what we were doing. I actually like you it actually be more factual than you think, and I might tell a few stories based off what I'm going, what I'm reading off of it. So I'm gonna try my best to keep it in line. And it's like I said, it's basketball, baseball, and all that stuff going on, but we're gonna keep it real sharp and real. We was on point yesterday. I ain't wear my tie today or nothing, but I forgot, just quick story. I got up early this morning. Well, it wasn't really early. I got up this morning right when the recreation center opened up, and I played basketball. I went 2-2. I went 1-1 on my one-on-one games, and then I went 1-1 on my what you call it now. I didn't like the way the team played the second time because like my position is like I'm not in shape to be running like chasing the fastest person on the team, and I feel like I got winded. Like the person wanted to play point guard, but I'm playing point guard. You play shooting guard. Like just shoot the ball. I'm gonna pass you the ball. Play defense. Give me the ball. Let me slow it up. And cause I'm probably like 30 pounds overweight. So I'm looking at like just y'all know I'm like really on that when it comes to defense. But y'all messing up the offensive game plan because y'all all scheduled. So I was a little agitated. I wanted to go undefeated in the team part of the basketball. The crazy thing is, like, man, I be talking about this energy, energy thieves. And as soon as I got on the court, I was stretching beforehand. I don't really stretch too much, but I ain't get to warm up that much. But dang, I'm talking about as soon as I got on, it happens all the time now. People want to like play voodoo games. My calf muscle went in tight, my hamstring. I'm talking about I'm not no the tier athlete I really am when it comes to training. Like I know, like I've been playing sports my whole life. I'm not like the weak part of the athlete side. You feel me? I might be out of shape or something right now, but I ain't never been the weak part of it. I ain't never been the sorry part of it. So I don't like this energy pulling, this weirdo energy. These I talk about it all the time. It's just like I be to myself too much. Like I really don't be bothering people. Like the worst thing I'm doing is this show. The rest that I'm doing is speaking, and people are intimidated by me speaking. I don't even use my energy on females. I don't be doing all that. I'm in a whole nother zone in the realm. I be having fun laughing at people who want to be in tune in clout world. It's funny to me. Like dang, like this be great. Like post up, like have fun, like do what you do. I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I'm having fun. This is you made me speak. You made me try to lose popularity, or slander me. That's how I look at these things. Like you mad because I'm stepping up to the plate and letting you know you not better than me at this any neither. And it's like, wait, what's going on? Like, figure out a new game plan, figure out a new person, new duck, new whole family, a tribe, a duck. It ain't over here. It ain't even allowed over here. So, I be looking at that shit like it's like, man, it's amazing to me. But let's get right to it, man. We're gonna let's give you a quick the today's it's called restoring influence. That's why I had to go down that run real quick because like I didn't like the fact that my legs was tightening up at the end, like right after my first game, and I was tightening up during the game. So I gotta just diss whoever doing all that weirdo junk. I just want you to know you still weak and you still a peasant mindset and peasantville and peasant bloodline and peasant everything associated with you. And I'm gonna diss you every time I get a chance. Okay, for real talk. So, but yeah, we was talking about the influence and influential people who was changing the game in the civil rights era when it was helping people go vote and they were getting killed by these white supremacist groups and Ku Klux Klan members, like I've been speaking on. They're trying to replay this stuff out in 2026. Now they're wearing police officer uniforms, sheriff officers. I seen a clip today where it was a sheriff fighting a black woman. He was a white man, and they was bullying and doing all this police sheriff tactics to attack my character and make sure that I get fined and have to pay fees at the law, at these courthouses and stuff in Florida. I don't really like. I can't complain, but at 34 years old, you can speak about it. So I'm not in that. I'm not in a way no more. So I'm in a whole nother. I had to bump it up a little bit. You feel me? So, yeah. So y'all looking real goofy right now. Whoever was trying me, y'all look goofy, slow, retard, all that, everything in the book. You feel me? So yeah, let's get right to it. The quick we speaking on it. I'm gonna just start off. The I'm gonna read this off again. It's called SPLcenter.org, and then you gotta it's other stories that the crazy thing is I seen a story that they just put out April 1st about Eatonville, Florida. So whoever this is that's over this whole little station and channel, this website, I shout y'all out because y'all really down in the South. Y'all really know what y'all talking about. Y'all keeping it short and simple. Y'all making people. Y'all doing kind of how I feel like my podcast is. I make sure that I put enough information, and then you got to go put that. You got to go to these places and put your efforts into telling these stories and to getting and making sure history doesn't repeat itself. So I still got a lot to do. I definitely got to visit Mississippi. I definitely got to visit Ohio. I definitely got to visit Alabama more. Only drove down in a straight line and turned back around, went to Florida or Alabama. But I'll be there soon. But I definitely went and seen. It's still a lot. You probably got like a little pocket of Alabama that's black, and then the rest is white, and the supremacy is strong. So I be in the senator's offices all the time. I see all how they moving. It's the same as in the 1960s. They just don't put on suits and put on uniforms, and they gonna brainwash a lot of African descendant beings. And they down here tap dancing like it ain't no tap dancing. The tap dancers don't broke off the shoes at the bottom of their shoes. They tapping so hard, and that's how it's gonna go. Now let's continue to we're gonna start right back at where we was at. And I didn't want to stay too long yesterday. I ran over a little bit because I know people attention span is not as they're not as coherent in a lot of spaces, a lot of times. And make sure I redid the senator vote, man. Go vote. I was playing around. I went on the 5,000 role model because I am a 5,000 role model. It might be in denial, but I definitely didn't lose no I probably didn't go to. I did. I think I went to enough. I don't know. I think I've been a role model. So yeah, I went on there. I was sharing my link on the people that was tagging 5,000 role models. I went on all the senators that looked like they wanted to pop up or anybody famous with a blue check. Y'all make sure y'all put my vote in. I didn't like the fact that I didn't get a yes vote for being senator in 2036. I didn't put the year, but I put that I want to run. They put like two people was like somebody else is better than me. The other one said no. So your no could be someone's yes, and it only motivates and fuels me to sharpen myself as a politician and to be great. So shout out to all the people that told me no and that they want somebody else. So yeah, but let's continue. March 23rd, 1964, right in Jacksonville, Florida, the state that I'm born in. Johnny May Chapel. This is a white. No, this is not a white guy. Sorry, his photograph is unavailable. This was a black person. Sorry. His killer. Okay, he was okay. Johnny May Chapel was murdered as she walked alongside a roadside. I said he, but it's a she. So they killed. Ooh, like I was just talking about. I'm glad I stopped right here. Ain't that something? They want to, and that's actually a real tactic for the United States of America. They like to kill black women slowly now. Poison. Give them the bare means. They like to promote them to go out and do unnatural things with their bodies, like changing they like to promote that. Getting a breast implant and a butt implant is the cool thing to do. Taking your whole digestive system out of you and all this stuff to kill y'all off slowly but surely, like making y'all have children. So They was shooting people right in the broad day, women, children. This is in 1960s. Her killer was white men looking for a black person to shoot following the day of a racial unrest. So he was just mad because there's black people alive. So he was just pow when they shot a lady in broad day. So they trying to get back to that. They beating on women and stuff. I actually tagged the Ron DeSantis and Rick Scott. I seen Rick Scott. He's a coward. That guy don't stay for the meetings and stuff when they be doing hearings and stuff. They the biggest cowards in the world. They be out here hiring white supremacist sheriff officers and these cowards be all in groups and tied into some of the weakest female most peasant mindset people in Florida. They love these people. These people are I don't know about Rick Scott being a cocaine addict, but I know that Ron DeSantis is definitely a cocaine addict and a drug addict. And I don't care. Who knows? He shouldn't be in position. Somebody need to go ahead and run for I don't want to be governor. He don't even be high. He be hiding anyways for real. So and you could tell he be shaking and stuff when you see him. He ain't even old enough to be shaking like that. He be all here doing all these white supremacist groups, broad day in Tallahassee and stuff. Man, weird and dumb. He look goofy, So I gotta tell him how it is. I'm from Florida. If you from Florida, we talk like this with white people for real because they talk to us any kind of way, and not as vice versa type. So when they get out of power and they find out, we ain't gonna really talk to them. They gonna be able to be doormats and fly away to Europe or something, but they're not gonna be able to be in our in crowd. And they just be mad because they be lames and stuff. But yeah, let's continue. April 7, 1964, Cleveland, Ohio. This guy is a white guy. His Reverend Bruce Clutter, they used to call these guys nigger lovers, was among the civil rights activists who protested the building of segregated schools by placing their bodies in the way of construction equipment. Clutter was crushed to death with a bulldozer back over him. Well, that sounds like, I don't know, Yeah, so yeah. He got messed up, man. You got in the way, man. You was helping too many black folks, I guess. And ran your ass over. Sorry about that, but to the Clutter family. He's real out here. It ain't funny, but I'm just talking about how they did his ass in. They don't play. But they trying to get like that, man. These white women scared. The ones that wanted to help, they halfway help, so they getting hit and they getting messed up. So it look like y'all, if y'all didn't play halfway rule, halfway time, y'all be okay in this generation. But it be the fact that y'all be halfway doing stuff, and then y'all be being nosy. Then it look like y'all the ops bigger than the people that doing stuff. So that's just how it's going. And now let's move on. May 2nd, 1964, Midville, Mississippi. Henry Hezekiah D. Yeah, I know I got a guy who knows. I like that name. That's a cool name. Charles Eddie Moore was killed at a Klansman, and Charles Eddie Moore were killed by Klansmen who believed the two were part of a plot to arm blacks in the area. So they was on some, Black Panther party before it was Black Panther. I don't know what year that was. I think it was in the 70s. But yeah, before they was just trying to gear up, make sure they people right. People was getting land back then in this time. So when they was getting land, they had to protect theirs, and then they went to burning people churches, burning people land, fields. They was mad. So them continue to read. Their bodies were found during a massive search and the missing civil rights workers, Chaney Goodman and Schwerner. So they got missing. They probably got chopped up or something. You never knew. Like I said, they used to party and celebrate people dying and getting burnt up from hangers and stuff. So that was what they like to do. They trying to figure out a way to start doing it again. Hopefully they don't get back to that point. But we just gotta educate, and you gotta put these people right there on the front line to not be in any kind of position of telling people what to do or threatening the youth, which is what the main problem is, or problem will be for me. Because if you mess with mine, I already told y'all the story about how they tried my child in 4th grade a little bit too. It got a little too real because I don't play them type of games with nobody. So whoever did that, I hope I know what it is. I told you what it is. Now let's continue. On July 11, 1964, Colbert, Georgia. Lieutenant Cole Lumal Penn, a Washington, D.C. educator, was driving home from the U.S. Army Reserve training when he was shot and killed by a Klansman in a passing car. So he was just going home. This is another story where it was like, the sundown rules. They was trying to re-implement that down in Washington, D.C. recently for the youth. And this is just one of those times he got caught outside driving, going home in 1964 in the summer, and he got popped and, with a gun. So hopefully they not trying, they really wanted to be that type of situation, but we gonna hopefully the black women come together and start, treating black men with respect. And we get our black men out of these prisons, and they start actually having some real mental capacity to not be ignorant and not be institutionalized. I know they went through a lot, because I be around people that are whatever. They have they're not mentally aware that they are free. They don't want to have a mental blockages of not being able to maneuver in this world. So we got to change that. Now let's continue. 1965, February 26th, Marion, Alabama. Jimmy Lee Jackson was beaten and shot by state troopers again. 1965, a state trooper, which is a guy that's in a uniform that is supposed to protect. So, he was doing the complete opposite. This guy said as he tried to protect his grandfather and mother from trooper attack on civil rights marches, his death led to Selma Montgomery March and eventual passage of the Voting Rights Act. So it was having big issues with people getting killed. They was trying to protect their parents. They was trying to get them across that bridge, get them over that hump of being able to vote and get these people out of the power. But eventually, they was killing people. So like they said, they doing the same tactics right now. It's playing out in front of everybody right now. This is why this is one of the biggest stories in the world that I'm talking about this, because people are actually trying to create executive orders to stop people from voting, or figure out how not to make people vote, or this certain group to not vote, or the fact that they don't understand that when people are deemed immigrants and they come to the United States soil, that they actually have a passage to get their paperwork here, because this is a free country. But you wrote so many laws and rules why these people not supposed to be here. Y'all forget the mindset of what y'all was originally here. You got kicked out of London, Britain, whatever European country, because you were the most demonic, nastiest people in the world at the time. Y'all got kicked out, not the other way around. So why y'all trying to come over here and bust? Y'all doing the same dumbass tactics that your great grandfather that you want to sit up here and hype up done did. So we don't care. Go, leave, jump off a cliff, hide under Arctic or whatever you want to, go back in the mountains somewhere and hide. We don't want you to be over here trying to make up them dumbass rules no more. That's how it's gonna go. Now let's continue. March 11, 1965, Selma, Alabama. This is a white guy, Reverend James Reab, a urinary minister from Boston, was among the many whites clergymen who joined the Selma marches after attack by state troopers in Edmund Pettus Bridge. Reab was beaten to death by a white man while he walked down the Selma Street. Sorry about that. That's unfortunate. They was getting hit. They was trying to hit back because people was doing stuff and hitting stuff. You ever watch the movie? The movie was kind of like, why y'all went over there thinking y'all weren't supposed to fight back if y'all about to die? If I'm gonna go over there and I'm almost sure these people got guns and rocks and whatever stuff they was doing, I'm finna be ready. Like I'm not gonna go there and play around with you. So unfortunately, this guy was a white guy. He could go there with a whole AK-47 and lighting shit up for everybody. He went over there with nothing, but he was a reverend, so I guess he was all. But hey, but let's continue. This next story, this next piece or individual, she was a white woman on March 25th, 1965, Selma Highway, Alabama. Viola Gregg Liesel, a housewife and mother from Detroit, drove along to Alabama to help with the summer march after seeing televised reports of attack in the Edmund Pettus Bridge. She was fearing marchers between Selma and Montgomery when she was shot and killed by a Klansman in a passing car. That's a shame. Sorry to that family. She was definitely on the other side trying to help, and she got shot. June 2nd, 1965, Bogoza, Louisiana. O'Neal Moore was one of the two black deputies. Now this guy is a deputy. Like I said, they sign up. They get now what they do with these police officers. They try to put them against their family members. They want to haze them for their whole careers and do all kind of weirdo stuff when they in there. They think they ain't good with these people. These people start messing with family members, children, all kind of stuff. Mother, they do this stuff still. This is the same playbook. This is what I had the dilemma because when I came to this Washington D.C. area, I was coming here to join the service. And I know these are some of still the biggest white supremacy, but then you got to think about it, coming from Florida, you know, and then just me already these people are acting that delusional, like I don't supposed to be able to sign up for the U.S. Army after all these white men and white supremacist groups have slandered de- and deteriorated my name in all kind of systems. The school board, the any recreation center. These people have tried to make sure any all these places in Washington D.C. that y'all think is important. These people have all did something to my family at the tippy top of it. The people that are alive. So this is why I signed because they were attacking my little sister, and they went to try to put my big sister against me and my little sister, and that shit ain't gonna fly because I ain't letting that shit ride like that. And I got children, and these are the nephews that I already raised, and they gonna be successful, and they gonna be able to come through all that hating ass shit they was doing. I don't care who you is and what you made of, because you obviously ain't made of what I'm made of. You wouldn't be trying to attack us in the manner that you're doing it. So I gotta put your ass on front blast and make your ass look real small and real. And if you're a black person and you think you too famous to get this message, and you think you wanna include and try to get down with the dumb down, your silly ass, you could be a part of their stupid ass group too. So oh well. But anyways, like I was saying, I had a decision to make. Y'all want to put these stupid ass people around my little sister with the crash dummy clue? I'm gonna put a crash dummy. I'm gonna be the biggest crash dummy if anything happened to my little sister. You ain't never gonna see nobody crash bigger than me. That's on me. That's on my dad. So on my real father. You get what I'm saying? So I ain't got time. That's the message I gave her when I left, and that's the message what it is. And we're gonna continue. And if you try my child again, it's gonna be reversed. Now let's continue. O'Neal Moore, and that's why I told the mayor of Pompano, so he could tell. I told him straight to his stupid ass face. Now, July 18th, 1965, Anderson, Alabama. Willie Brewster was on his way home from work when he was shot and killed by a white man. That man belonged to the National States Right Party, a violent neo-Nazi group whose members have been involved in church. And I was very nice and very polite about it. This is my show, though. This is named after my child. So, oh well, figure it out. Whose member had been involved in church bombings and murders of blacks. Sorry about that, man, because Willie Brewster was killed and he was shot by a white man. This is the stuff they like to play out in the summer. I just gotta say, man, the summer coming up very soon. Spring it comes and goes. And if you from Florida, it's already feeling like the summer over there. If you already down this area, 80 degrees today. It was a very beautiful day. And yeah, but I just be looking at some of these situations. It was a neo-Nazi group. So, this is the stuff I've been speaking on. This is the stuff that still happens. This is the stuff that's still around. They teach their kids to call black people dogs and all this stuff. They want to reprocreate with black and women and then treat them like nothing and kill them off. So they have mixed children. And once they get the mixed children, they want to treat them like Cinderella. But the only thing about the Cinderella story of them, they're never going to get treated good and never going to get Prince Charming unless they literally leave their family and start their own. And they disassociate from the white supremacy all together and join the black side completely. There's no in between. It's 2026. The information and historic facts is right in your face. So that's all the message for that. Now let's continue. August 20th, 1965, Haynesville, Alabama. Jonathan Merrick Daniels, an Episcopal seminary student in Boston, had come to Alabama to help with black voter registration in Lawrence County. He was arrested at the demonstration, jailed in Haynesville, and suddenly released. Moments after his release, he was shot to death by a deputy sheriff. This was a white young man, and like I said, they was helping with the voters registration, and people who didn't understand that they were changing that people were allowed of color were allowed to vote. And yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Now, let's continue. So this is a nice piece. I told you this piece is nice. They highlighting the people, and they telling you exactly what happened. It wasn't ain't nothing to detail. You got shot and killed for being this. That's all they telling you. And I love that. I love that type of information. And this is what we're specifically focusing on. You know, people are making rules right now to stop people from voting. They're making rules to go to war. They're stealing government funds to stop housing, education, to fund a war. This is what is going on now. Information is sent out. Everybody sitting in all the other 49 states watching me from Washington D.C. You're not that active. We got all these Klansmen and all these people they describing over here in the senator's office playing around. They took a whole month off when I came because I was. They know I don't know if it's me, but it's somebody making stuff happen. So they need to figure it out. They need to start listening to people that ain't doing what they supposed to be doing. People who ain't supposed to be leaders don't need to be leaders. And like I said, the United Nations just told y'all that they finna get these people back for improperly doing enslavement, and that's one of the biggest stories that ain't been ran on nobody local news, and they need to run it over and 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 over until somebody get the clue. Now let's continue. January 3rd, 1966, Tuskegee, Alabama. Samuel Lemon Young Yogi Jr., a student civil rights activist, was fatally shot by a white gas station owner following an argument over a segregated restroom. Now, this guy was also in the service, looked like he was on Navy or something. So I don't know. He got a picture like he was, on the Navy, but he said he was a civil rights activist, student civil rights activist at the time. So hey, you get caught being an educator and you out here trying to change and create real laws and real passageways for your family and get in position to change. They still was doing the same tactics they doing now. So this is why we're doing this piece, and this is why this is a State of the Union, elite press State of the Union, and we're not joking around today. So let's continue. January 10, 1966, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Vernon Ferdinand Demar, a wealthy businessman, offered to, if I messed up his name, I apologize to his family, offered to pay poll taxes for those who could not afford the fee required to vote. Now that's what's up. And it looked like he was probably a mixed or white man, so I can't tell. The night after the radio station broadcasted the Deemer's office, his home was firebombed. Deemer died later from severe burns. That's unfortunate. That guy was helping with his money, and that is very rare. And and then, like I said, the voting, they was taxing people just to go in there and sign up. So that clearly was a thing right back then. Clearly it's free to sign. People want to be. The crazy thing is how Florida design. I can't. I don't. I don't understand what their issue is. I don't understand how these people are allowed. The United Nations have literally led by Ghana. By the way, I want to reiterate that was led by Ghana. They said so. Led by Ghana, they gotta be active right now. I want to be honest. You know what I really want. You know, because I'm not hard to get in touch with. I want all the people from Ghana that is really like in the United Nations that helped, and the other people who's probably involved. I want them to be in Washington D.C. and all the major states. I want them to execute the United Nations charges against the United States of America. Not because I'm against the United States of America. All my family is here. I've been here generations after generation, like so many generations. The problem is people need to move out the way. People don't want to leave their positions and posts that they have already deemed you illegal. You have illegally done illegal things. You should not be there anymore. What is it? What's the word they like to throw around? They literally did a whole. I walked in. They up here talking about when Nixon got what's the called Spygate, and they over here coding up stuff that they the ones that's hiding. They the ones should be. They the ones knew stuff ain't right. You know. So what's the issue? Why y'all hiding? What's the problem? Why are y'all in? Why are y'all a standard? Why are y'all? Y'all need to delete y'all whole Twitter, live a regular life, change your name, move to Antarctica, move back to Europe, move back to wherever you need to go. Don't be over here messing up for the rest of the people of color that's supposed to be here procreating, fixing up the land, making sure we ain't getting no holes drilled in it, and we ain't finna blow up nothing, and we ain't starting wars. We don't want to be on all that type of time with y'all. We ain't on that. Y'all created those wars by yourself. So go back to Europe with your people and have fun. Go over there. Go blow something up over to Europe. Go over there. We don't want you here no more. It might not happen like I say, but it's still it's well funny coming out of my mouth. Nah, but real talk. Let me continue, man. But woo, I'm having a good day today. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not even in a bad mood or anything like that. So I'm just it's very funny to me. I'm not making this up. But let's continue. June 10th, 1966. Now that's the day I graduated high school. June 10th. The Chaz, Mississippi. Ben Chester White, who worked most of his life as a caretaker on a plantation, had no involvement in civil rights work. He was murdered by a Klansman who thought they could divert attention from civil rights marches by killing a black person. Now this is a dang on shame. They really killed somebody for attention. That was their reason. This is the fact. This is what they said out their mouth when they came and got. They probably ain't go to jail because it was in 1966. This the year my dad was born. He was about June, July, August, 5 months away. He was in my grandma's stomach, but that's the year he was born. Let's continue. July 30th, 1966, Bogosa, Louisiana. Clarence Triggs, he does not have a picture, so I don't know. He was a black man, a bricklayer who attended civil rights meetings sponsored by Congress of Racial Equality, was found dead on the roadside, shot through the head. They ain't getting no details on how it happened. He just got shot in the head. He left on the side of the street. Like I said, they want to recreate so many of these situations, but unfortunately, they have people like me that will come out here and say it's not going to happen. It will not happen. And the people that think that way need to be excommunicated from the whole entire continent of, or and move back to Europe or Britain or whatever part of the country or the globe you originally from, that practice those things, that believe that they're better than people because of color. You can go on back over and over there. We don't want you here. I'm gonna reiterate that. February 27th, Natchez, Mississippi. Wallace Jackson, the treasurer of his local NAACP chapter, was one of the many blacks who received a threatening Klan notice at his job. After Jackson was promoted to a position previously reserved for whites, a bomb was planted in his car. It exploded minutes later after he left work one day, killing him instantly. Mm, mm, mm. That's a shame. Let's continue. May 12th, 1967. Hold on, they like to come in. Oh. May 12th, 1967, Jackson, Mississippi. Benjamin Brown, a former civil rights organizer, was watching the students protest from the sideline when he was hit by a stray gunshot from police who fired into the crowd. Ain't that some relevant stuff they be doing? 1968, February 8th. Sorry about, so I'm trying to move on. I don't want to stay too long. A lot of this is one of those. And I don't like to read stuff that sounds like I'm promoting violence. So this is like a rare thing that I do, but I have to remind people to keep their head on the swivel and to know who their real enemies are. The people that shake your hand and laugh at these, they come in these little happy old people groups and they be out here thinking the worst for you. And they got their little grandchildren that's our age that's out here doing the most evil, demonic shit ever, way somewhere else, trying to plot against you to not be alive. They forging a plan right now because I'm speaking right now out loud. Just to let you know. 1968, February 8th, Orangeburg, South Carolina. Samuel E. Fasan Hammond Jr., Delano Herman Middleton, and Henry. Oh, I think I read that one. Were shot and killed in South. Oh, they got another two. We're gonna yeah, but this is the last one because this is actually today's the anniversary. I don't like to celebrate this. I won't call it. This is the day that on 1968 Dr. Martin Luther King got shot. So I'm gonna read it out. Baptist minister was a major architectural civil rights movement, the majorist, besides probably Malcolm X because he did a lot more outside the country than he did. So he touched bases with some real high level people in Africa in the '60s, and he didn't go to that mile, but he did a lot on the full field. And we gotta really remember that these people. I'm getting back to the part where they left off at, where they was getting killed at, and I'm just not been finna go that route with these people. This is so easy to speak on without having a crowd and getting the message across. If people want to listen or people want to tap dance, it all depends on what you want to be. It's a lot of people out here that are using their abilities for the wrong side sometimes. People think I'm moved for the wrong side, but I just described to you what happened when I signed. They act like I don't even exist. So I gotta speak on that all the time. So what that time I was on, whatever time I'm on now. They clearly ain't figured it out. They want to keep up these people that ain't worth nothing. They want to keep stealing government funds to fund something that in a country that they really from, which is definitely was like some third string. This was a third string option for them. So that option didn't even work that good because they got caught red handed. And they went to marrying the wrong people and they went to poking holes in the United States and they poke holes in their own damn self. And that's just how it went. Now, that's it for that story. Unfortunately, Martin Luther King is one of the biggest civil rights, and he's from Memphis. He was demonstrated in Memphis, Tennessee, when it happened to him. But he won the Nobel Peace Prize. Story goes depending on who tells it. Because they said he had multiple females besides his wife, but that was an irrelevant story compared to what he actually did for the community. And he just was propped up because it was a big deal how he spoke, and his education and his intellectual ability was very high level. So all that was important to the whole community. He was more than just a lesser somebody walking around. He was actually a great planner. He operated in that manner. He is very militant when it comes without a gun. When it comes to putting stuff, he put stuff. Let's put it like this: he had a bigger plan than what he was showing. So they didn't like him. They wanted him to be not there. He was able to make people do stuff that he didn't want to shoot the gun, but everybody else could have probably been that type of person around him. And that's just what type of person he was when it comes to motivating. And he will never be forgot. He's one of the biggest in the United States. I wonder why we don't have a Malcolm X Day, but you know what kind of you know how that goes. But they don't want to get too many of those type of days out. Now, let me read. Like I said, I want to read I'm gonna read one more of these things, and I'm gonna close it out for the day. And it's based off because I am from Florida, and I am very tied to Eatonville, Florida. Mm-mm-mm. A timeline of events in Eatonville, Florida. This is what I'm about to read. Well, it's too much to read. I'll read that another day. It was founded in 1887 during I'm just reading what is based a little based off of it. And the reconstruction during Reconstruction, Eville, Florida was one of the first towns in the US to be incorporated by people who were freed from slavery. The black community near Orlando is one of the fewer than 200 black settlements that became all black incorporated communities with the anonymous black city government today. And it ain't nobody there that claims that area. That's why I've claimed that area. Besides, I'm not claiming Orlando as a place of like they was taken over by all the people who basically are, I don't know what to call it. It's like when it comes to energy, and I could go into details about it just based off me visiting Orlando and how these people in Disney use the influence and popularity of actors, people who visit their parks, people who almost was famous. This stuff gets talked about on the underground world, but it don't get talked about in the main stage of things. And they do their stars so dirty once they use them up, and they need they always find a new person. So the actors are trying to do now is kind of like forming an alliance so they don't lose their spirits and lose their lights that they came in with. So, and I see, some, and it's be people that they care about, that if they still keep their light, it be people that they care about that lose theirs, and they lose their life, or they're subjugated to being under the authority of someone. And that's just how it goes. I want to use these people as example, but I'll speak on it, and they probably will get the message. And it is just what it is. It recently happened right in our face. You have a child and boom. Yeah. So nah, man. I'm from Florida, so I don't look at it like that. My family was always up there in Orlando doing their thing. They was in basketball tournaments. I used to visit there. I did everything but go to Disney World. My child visited Disney World. Everybody visit Disney World. And when you go to all the water parks, I've been to all the water parks. You know how that go. Everybody want to get confused and act like they don't know how big of an energy it is when it comes to Floridians, but it is there. And then Eatville is one of those sacred places, them territories where they that, like I was just describing, like it was writing about. So it's just one of those surviving communities that was last commented on a quick intro to what this is about. And it's just a timeline of things that happened. I'm not gonna read the timeline. I'm just gonna let y'all know what they said about it. It was done April 1st. It's very recent. He actually got another one they did, but about Enville. But it's just I ain't I'm happy to be from there. But I'm still from the South. I'm based out in the South. I got people spaced out. And yeah. So that's about it today. The State of the Union, man, we gonna get better. This wasn't as polished as my other ones. I didn't come here all, I didn't want it to be that anyways. Today I came in, I want people to laugh about the stuff that I spoke on. They try to, I could say so many things and how things are when it comes to I got food. But yeah, that's it, man. This is the State of the Union. This is, enjoy y'all Saturday. Check the games out. I'm not gonna. I don't. I'm trying to wing myself off of political. Let's put it like that. I'm heavily controlling the market on what's being spoken on, and I'm not gonna give no attention to no duck. If you a duck, I ain't giving you no attention. Sorry about it. I'm not amused. Just put it that way. I'm not abused by your tactics of trying to put your stories out there. The stories that you're trying to hide under. I just told you what the main thing. The main thing is. These are the main things right now. I don't care what nothing else they be reporting on. First thing, United Nations charged the United States of America for improperly enslaving African Americans. Let's continue. That's one. Number two, once you delve right into the United States of America, the Epstein files have everybody on there that y'all see on there talking about they need to be doing this and that. They need to be putting these rules in place and that rule in place. You're all implemented in these files. They just fired the general attorney. attorney. This person is not even disliked in her circle. They just want to blame somebody else, like they blamed him. So after you, that's number two, what you're hiding behind, that you covering up. Number three, you're dismantling the education system. This was designed by natives of this land. This was not designed by you dummies that were eating shit and having sex with animals. This was designed by the people that look like me. Leave education system alone. Thank you. Those are the three things you need to worry about when they taking our money. And the last thing is housing. Housing should not be that expensive if you don't want to give nobody no money. Period. Because it was free. We built our houses. We taught you how to build a house. You don't even build your house right now. That's the last thing. And the car, it's a plus. You can still catch public transportation for less than $5 a day in any state. Don't complain about gas. Thank you. Amen. All right, that's it for the State of the Union. I am your host, Ira Thomas Ford. This is Dynasty the Podcast Show, and I will be back with y'all tomorrow.